The story is very strange and controversial, which puzzled many at the time. Whether that plane was inhabited by the devil, every year on the same day, one of its crew members would die in strange ways above its engines. On that day, the passengers sat quietly and very relaxed in their seats inside the cursed airplane, and they were exchanging various conversations and laughter and fastening their belts. The cursed airplane, exchanging various conversations and laughter and fastening their belts, the sound of the airplane's engines roared as they rumbled along the runway. On the runway at Gander Airport in Newfoundland, Canadian pilot Bob Norman parked his Constellation AHEM-4. He reviewed all the indicators and devices in front of him to make sure that everything was fine before he took off. He had a bad feeling that the plane would kill him and he would die inside it. He knows that, and there is a strong sense of taming him. A year ago, in July 1947 AD, the captain of the plane died above the dashboard, and the cause was unknown. Another year before that, on the same day and on the same plane, a foreign object infiltrated its engines and it almost overturned, and its captain also died for an unknown reason above the plane's engines, and despite making sure all its engines are intact, but they do not know what happened on that day. So the plane passed this time, and before taking off with all the tests and reviews, over a full 6 hours, and when Norman finished checking all the devices, standing at the end of the takeoff corridor, the plane began to shake violently and the airplane was grabbed by the branches. The captain lifted his feet off the brakes, and when the plane took off, and when the plane reached 145 miles, it rose from the ground and its wheels entered it, and here a red light shone in the dashboard, and the alarm bell rang for the sound of the engines, and those engines were checked with great accuracy. But nevertheless the engine ignited and became a mass of flames. The captain pressed a button, and firefighting materials shot out from under the wing of the plane until the fire was extinguished. After extinguishing the ignition of the first engine in the plane, a tall building appeared in front of the plane, and the plane was at a low altitude, and the impact was imminent, and the pilot of the plane must now rise. And when the pilot tried to rise did not rise, the captain was forced to use the last means in front of him, which is to rise with the help of the three remaining engines. It is known that the takeoff energy generates intense heat in the engines and leads to great stress, and is only used for 2 minutes only. And, unfortunately, when he tried to use this method, it did not work and the plane did not rise up, but began to move down, as if someone is controlling the plane and trying to bring it down with an invisible force. But it is strong, and he cannot control it. Norman continued to try not to drop the plane in vain, and here, co-pilot Lewis Ford leaned his body aside, extended his hands to the steering arm, and cooperated with Norman. Exerting all their strength in pulling it, the opposite force began to respond to their strength, then it began to contrast, and the nose of the plane rose a small distance above the roof of the building. The plane then returned to the airport and flew over it until it ran out of fuel, and the calls rose in the control tower carried by the loudspeakers. Emergency, emergency. Alarm bells sounded, fire trucks and ambulances rushed to the runway, and after a while the plane landed on the runway safely amid the foamy liquid released by the fire trucks. The plane was saved, but what happened next was very strange. The following year, on July 10th, 1949 AD, a news story in all newspapers about the plane crash on the 9th day of July, and it crashed near Chicago, and it was on its way to Chicago, and all its crew of 4 people and 9 passengers died.